for game number 13 of the season. Charlotte took on the Toronto Raptors tonight. And once again, I'm your host, Dan Thompson, senior NBA writer for the three-point conversion, covering the Charlotte Hornets. And this is the best post-game show you're going to find anywhere involving, yes, the Charlotte Hornets. Follow me on Twitter at DannyDany3 Thompson on Twitter, as well as check out my work on the Three-Point Conversions website and the Three-Point Conversions YouTube page as well. So, also, at the same time, since you're watching Haps TV for the first time, also check us out and subscribe. Download the app as well, too, and subscribe to me at Haps.tv to subscribe, and also donate if you like to donate as well, too. And also, if you're in the chat tonight, like my main man Mike Patton, what's up, bro? Leave a comment in the chat and definitely post it on the air as well, too. So I say, share it with your friends tonight as well, too, because one thing about Haps is great is the fact of you'll be able to enjoy my broadcast when you download the app for the very first time, and also you can subscribe for more content as well, too. You'll plus get 100 coins to basically share with all your favorite journalists that you see on there as well, too. So big shout out to my main man Peter up in the building for stopping through, and Precious always in the state in Virginia saying hello. And also, like I said, if you're doing what Mike does, you see what Mike does, you want to promote and also donate to the show, by the way, go ahead and do so. So tonight, listen, it was close. The Hornets went through a night where they actually scored points in the first quarter, and the problem was the defense wasn't there. Charlotte fought back to the very end, and two missed 3 points into the game, one from P.J. Washington and one from Devontae Graham. The Charlotte Hornets fall on the road tonight. It wasn't the easiest effort tonight, but 111-108 was the final score tonight in Tampa against the Toronto Raptors. To me, it still says weird to talk about Tampa and the Raptors when it was actually Toronto and the Raptors. So tonight, for the Hornets tonight, before we go deep into the game, they were led by Terry Rozier, who had 22 points. P.J. Washington had a double-double, 20 points and 11 rebounds. On the Raptor side of things, Chris Boucher off the bench, 25 points, 10 rebounds. Also, Fred VanVleet had 17 points as well, too. So let's talk about the game tonight and what you saw on the telecast all across the whatever part of in Canada or in the United States as well. So let's talk about the game tonight. So, well, the Charlotte Hornets have struggled with first quarter scoring and not having Gordon Hayward available due to a hip injury, which was a last-minute decision by Coach James Borrego and the coaching staff. Knowing they have a game on Saturday, no point in bringing him back if he wasn't 100%. He did go through warm-ups. It just wasn't cleared to play. Caleb Martin took his spot in the starting lineup, which meant that freed up more time for Malik Monk, which we'll get to in a second. So Charlotte was without their second leading scorer in the on their team tonight, and without having him in the lineup, Caleb Martin, the guy who has been giving instant offense on the bench, was granted the start against the Toronto Raptors team that was 2-8 to come into the game. But remember, even though they're 2-8, the Raptors is still a playoff team, regardless of what anybody thinks. Yes, there's no Serge Ibaka. Yes, there's no Marc Gasol. But when you look at how good the Raptors are, Nick Nurse is I think, arguably one of the three best coaches in the NBA, hands down. And he was going to get this ship turned around. Well, Charlotte, who's been notorious for slow starts, the NBA's 29th leading team when it comes to scoring points in the first quarter, actually got it going. They were knocking down shots early. They were getting to the rim. They were getting to the paint. They were doing everything you needed them to do in the first quarter. The problem was, for as good as the offense Charlotte had in the first quarter, they couldn't guard water on the perimeter tonight. First quarter, Toronto came out and just lit Charlotte up like a Christmas tree in the first quarter from beyond the arc. The Raptors hit 8 of 14 from the three-point line and negated the fact that Charlotte hit 62% of their shots in the quarter. Chris Boucher, a guy who really doesn't hit three-pointers, knocked down 2 in the first quarter. OG Anunoby, another guy doesn't knock down three-pointers, knocked down 2 himself. Charlotte couldn't guard the perimeter, and when you can't guard the perimeter, guess what happens? It doesn't look good no matter how many shots you get. 35 It was 35-34 at the end of one. But really, to be honest with you, like I said, both teams shot very well. The problem was the Raptors was just on fire behind the three-point line. Give Charlotte a lot of credit, for getting away from that slow start to do something, to actually make this a competitive game in the first quarter. Like I said, Boucher had knocked down a couple 3-pointers at 8 points. Anunoby had 9. P.J. Washington had 8 to lead the team in the quarter. Devontae Graham had 6 with 3 assists in the first quarter. LaMelo Ball came off the bench and had 5 points in the first quarter. But really the main thing in the first quarter for Charlotte was they out-rebounded them. They had 11 assists out of 13 turnovers, 13 made baskets. They were doing what Charlotte normally does, But Charlotte, and they even turned over the Raptors 6 times in the first quarter. But like I said, once again, when you give up 8 3-pointers in a quarter, it's just going to be an issue. We go into the second quarter, and what the Raptors had struggled with in the season so far was they've been outscored in the second quarter by, I think, by 30 points. I want to say right around about 20 points in the third quarter all season long. So you would have thought Charlotte was going to be able to make a run in the second quarter to get to where it was. The bad part was, and they took a page out of the first quarter and couldn't guard the 3-point line. Fred VanVleet started getting warm, and then when VanVleet started getting warm, Norman Powell came off the bench, and he was doing his with Boucher as well too. Hornets could, on the offensive end, they were getting points. I mean, Malik Monk came in. He finally checked in for the first time with substantial minutes. And listen, he was getting threes. Malik Monk looked like the player in the opening half that the Hornets had been seeing before he was hit with a suspension last year. He was out there. He was active. He was shooting threes. It was going in. And I'm pretty sure you saw on Twitter and anywhere that involving the Hornets, you saw Hornets fans saying, guess what? It's about time to pay Malik Monk. And to be honest with you, it was great to see Monk on the court. It was great to see him play well in that first half. Like I said, he was out there shooting threes. He looked like the Malik Monk that the Hornets had drafted. He knocked down 3 threes in the first half. The problem was the Hornets got 62 points in the first half. And if you look on the offensive end, it's great. They scored a lot of points. They shot 56% from the floor, almost 50-something percent from the 3-point line. The bad part was you gave 71 points in the first half to a Toronto team that had been struggling to score the basketball. It just was, everything was going in. And just like Facebook user saying, I can't see your name until you subscribe to HAP, so it just only says Facebook user. It was like, in his Oprah voice, you get a 3, you get a 3, everybody gets a 3. That's what it was. And it was a 3-point barrage fest. The Raptors were just unloading 3-pointers everywhere in this game tonight. That was the problem. You couldn't start a 3-point line. So Charlotte was down 72-61 in the third, at the end of the second quarter, going into the break. Third quarter, the Hornets started playing better defense, and even though the Raptors did score 28 points in the quarter, you start seeing the defensive effort. But the problem was, for as good a shot from the floor, they could not defend the 3-point line. Once again, Charlotte wasn't guarding 3-point shooters, and the Raptors, with VanVleet and Lowry knocking down 4 of the 6 3-pointers in the quarter, they just couldn't keep up. James Borrego had talked about this for a very long time. And it's talked about this from the very beginning, this team having resiliency. The Hornets were down 18 points at one point in the third quarter, but you start seeing the signs of life. Charlotte started cutting into that lead and started getting into it. I know I see a whole bunch of people in the comments asking questions. I'll get to it once I get through the game recap. But Charlotte was really starting to chip away at the lead. They got the lead down to 11, and then they started fighting back in the fourth quarter. And the fourth quarter was really all about the defense. The Raptors, who had 19 of 39 from the 3-point line through 3 quarters, missed 10 out of 11 shots from the 3-point line in the fourth quarter. Give the Hornets defense credit. If it wasn't for a better time to play defense, it was in the fourth quarter. The Raptors only hit 5 shots in the quarter, with Chris Boucher hitting 3 of those, which was the big key in this game. Give the Hornets a lot of credit on defense because they locked in. Miles Bridges was leading the defensive effort. Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham was also helping on defense. The Raptors couldn't hit shots, and the only problem for Charlotte was the shooting they had through 3 quarters. When they were shooting a wonderful 54% from the floor, they went just about as cold as the Raptors did. They went 9-26 in the quarter, the Raptors were 5-23. They kept chipping at the lead, and they just couldn't get it at the very end. Give credit to the Raptors. When the Hornets got the lead down to 3, with LaMelo Ball dunking the basketball, 53 seconds left in the game, Hornets had a chance to win it. They had a chance to send this game to overtime late in the game when Chris Boucher was blocked by P.J. Washington and got the rebound. They had 2 opportunities. P.J. Washington took the first one after give Nick Nurse credit for that inbound defensive rotation on Terry Rozier to put the ball in the hands of P.J. Washington instead of Rozier or even Devontae Graham. Give him credit for getting Washington that shot. It wasn't the best look, but PJ's knocked that shot down before, so it wasn't a bad look. Devontae got the rebound, took an off-balance 3 at the end of the game. The Raptors survived. They got their 3rd win of the season, and Charlotte is now on the season now now at 6-7 on the season. They fall under 500 after being 500 going into the game on Monday night. So here's what's going on with Charlotte, and there's a lot of questions in the chat. My man Ethan was like, timetable Gordon Hayward's injury. The good news is Gordon Hayward is day-to-day. It was a last-minute decision for the team. We didn't even know at 6 o'clock when he was talking in pregame where he was going to go. They downgraded him to doubtful right around 5:45. Borrego wanted him to go through warm-ups to see if he was able to go. They pulled him at the last minute. I think he should be available. The team is off tomorrow with the game on Saturday. There's really a day off in between. We should see Gordon Hayward back in the lineup tomorrow. I'm sorry, on Saturday, but it wouldn't surprise me if they held him out again Saturday because their next game is not until Wednesday, which gives Hayward even more time to rest. So it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't play on Saturday, and you just get the extended rest time because there was some good things you saw from the players that took the minutes that Gordon normally plays in the game tonight. All right, so Blitz always in the chat. My main man rated Blitz from Twitter. All right, he's back on the fire James Borrego game thing again tonight. And why is Devontae Graham playing 36 minutes when he played way worse than Melo? All right, so here's once again the minute situation. James Borrego's already said that he's rocking with the rotation. There was nothing wrong with it. We saw that it worked in effective ways tonight. And to be honest with you, Devontae Graham playing the minutes he played tonight, I mean, he was the guy knocking down three-pointers. He did go 5 of 12 from the three-point line. If you look at what Devontae did on the court tonight, outside of Miles Bridges, he was the only player with a positive plus-minus count tonight. So when he was on the court, he was effective. He did have 4 turnovers, but he did give you 4 rebounds and 4 assists. But Devontae's three-point shooting in this game was one of the things that kept Charlotte in it and helped bring them back in the game late. You know, you have to really realize sometimes it's not about scoring 25 points a game. And really with LaMelo Ball, LaMelo's a different type of point guard. And it's no reason to play. Listen, the Hornets are playing 2 games in 3 nights. Like, once again, it's overreactions to a situation that really wasn't bad. What the Hornets and the Hornets have to realize is that you can't let a team hit 23 pointers a game and expect to win. It just doesn't work that way in the NBA. You cannot allow the Toronto Raptors to literally start launching 3-pointers from day one. Okay? You can't. You cannot win basketball games if the Raptors are hitting 23 pointers in the game. It's very rare that teams that give up 23 pointers in the game win. I mean, LaMelo did play 27 minutes tonight. He did play I think he played the 5th most minutes tonight. So he did play a share of minutes. But if you look at what he did tonight and look at the game and the way it broke itself down, he played well. Devontae played better defense down the stretch, and he earned the minutes. If you want to ask why LaMelo Ball didn't play, go look at the 4th quarter minutes. LaMelo played 8.5 minutes in the 4th quarter. He was on the court when the game mattered. He played 8 out of the 12 minutes in the 4th quarter. Okay, there should be no LaMelo should be playing 26 minutes. Well, LaMelo still was not playing defense. There was still issues with LaMelo on defense. And to be honest with you, it's really about the way the game was dictated. 26 minutes is not bad. He produced in the 26 minutes. We're not expecting, once again, LaMelo Ball to be out here playing 35 minutes tonight. There's no rookie in the NBA that does that, so we can't compare him to any other rookie. The kid's still growing. He had an outstanding game tonight, 14 points. He had 11 assists. He had 6 rebounds. But one thing LaMelo had tonight, which you're not saying, is the fact that he had 5 turnovers tonight as well, too. He had 5 turnovers. You can't be turning the ball over. Okay, if you're, it's still a turnover game with him tonight. He had 5. He had 5 with the 11 assists tonight. So he did turn the ball a lot tonight. Devontae had 4, but I mean LaMelo had key turnovers in the game, and there were moments, like I said, it's just a learning process, and there's still time for him to develop and grow. All right, we're not as a Hornet, as a guy who covers the Hornets. His minutes are not the issue. It's what he does when he's on the court. And LaMelo's earning minutes. So, I mean, he's earning minutes at 27 minutes a game. I think he's now surpassed Halliburton as far as minutes played per rookie. So he's earning his minutes. We're not, like I said, once again, Devontae Graham was the team's arguably best player last season. So why are we trying to throw him out the window just yet? And Charlotte's not trading Devontae Graham under any circumstances. It's just not happening. Devontae Graham makes under $2 million a year. You will not get fair value for him. You will not. Okay? Ask the Lakers about Kyle Kuzma and why Kyle Kuzma was not included in the Anthony Davis trade. They would rather sell everybody else on the roster than Kuzma because of what he makes in the salary cap. Devontae's not getting traded, and neither is Terry Rozier. Hornets fans, we are parts. They're going to be part of this team for the foreseeable future. All right. Ethan's question in the chat: how long does LaMelo take to crack the starting lineup? Um, I don't know. I think even with tonight not having Gordon Hayward, you got to give the Hornets a lot of credit for playing without arguably their second best scorer, the second lead scorer on the team. He played really well. So I think I still think you're probably going to see LaMelo. I'd say the timeline's getting pushed back a bit, not because he's not playing good, it's because the first unit is playing well, and LaMelo brings a different type of vibe to the second unit. Charlotte, as far as what they're providing in the NBA as far as bench, they're in the top 5 in a lot of statistical categories with the bench. So why would you take a strength away that you've been playing so well with? Just let it flow the way it is. But timetable wise, maybe by the time we get to the homestand in February, depending on how this is. But if the Hornets are still playing successful, I don't see LaMelo getting in the starting out. Not because he's not playing, it's because the team's just playing well. Tonight they had their chances to win. Like I said, they could have sent the game to overtime, and what happens in overtime happens in overtime. You look at the game tonight; they were competitive. The Dallas game on Monday night. I mean, the game last night against Dallas. I mean, they got blown out of the building. But that's the same team that was a playoff team last year. But if you go back and take away the Dallas game, look at the previous 4 games before that when Charlotte was on a winning streak. So I know some Hornets fans are not happy with James Borrego, but listen, once again, you're asking James Borrego to turn a team into a playoff team. If you base this over a 82 game season, James Borrego and this Hornets team won 23 games last season. So to even be 500 in an 82 game season, you would have to look like your team would have to win 41 games. If this team were 500, that's an 18 game improvement, which is considered one of the biggest turnarounds in the history of the NBA in one season. Okay. Charlotte, the way they're constructed was, I don't think they were a playoff team. They weren't one of the 6 or 7 best teams in the Eastern Conference when the season started. So I'm not worried about where they are in the development process. I think they're still way above schedule, way ahead of schedule. Remember, this is the same Charlotte team that does not have Cody Zeller, who was a key part of the rotation. They're playing small, and even though they're playing small, PJ Washington is doing a better job than what most people give him credit for. If you look at his numbers across the NBA, he is second in the NBA in blocks, in total blocks for people under 6'7" and under. He's second in the NBA in that block category, and he's playing out of size, playing out of position, but he's doing a very good job playing at the small ball 5. Bismack Biyombo is what Bismack Biyombo is. He's a platoon center who's playing more than he has to, and I think more than what they expected him to play when the season started. He's playing very well. He's playing better than what we thought he was. He still has issues. He's never going to be a scorer. He's going to be a guy that just he screens, he shoots other things, and everything else. And Blitz, first and foremost, LaMelo's not asking for a trade. He's only played 13 games. Like, the one thing about Hornets fans that are very interesting to me is the fact that they're so worried about LaMelo Ball walking out the door that they're not even enjoying the fact that he's playing right now. I understand with the Kemba Walker situation, but Kemba was here for so many years. Like, a guy's not going to walk away or want to be traded after 2 games. It's just not working. And ironically, the guys all mesh well together. Without a training camp, without any type of off season, they had to mesh very quickly. And all these guys are not used to playing with each other. This is a brand new system where, you're expecting teams to win championships that haven't played together. And truth be told, in the NBA, the way you win is you have to have a top 10 player to win a championship. That's just how it is. Charlotte doesn't have one of those just yet. They don't have one just yet. And that's okay. It's okay not to have a top 10 player. Charlotte doesn't have one yet. LaMelo has a chance to be one of the best players in the league. It just takes time. You're asking a 19-year-old kid to do what LeBron James did at 19 years old. And guess what? LeBron James, his first year, they didn't make the playoffs. So give it time. Everybody wants to people want to microwave a process that doesn't need to be microwaved. Firing James Borrego would not be the answer. It's not solving the question. It's not going to solve the question. It's not going to get this team to develop any faster. What's going to get this team to develop faster is doing the little things that need to be done on the court on a daily basis. And Blitz, I don't watch. Yes, I do. I watch this team way more than you think I do. I probably watch it more often than you do. All I'm saying is you see chemistry and you see things on the court, and things take time. We saw Terry Rozier last year play not very well out of chemistry with these guys last year. Look at the chemistry they have now. It just takes time. The good news is Charlotte plays a lot of games a lot of days, which allows them to have a lot more game experience together. If you would have asked Hornets fans, would they have been right around 500, 13 games of the season? Most Hornets fans would have been freaking shocked at this point, especially the way the Hornets have played and who they've beaten over the 13 games, the six out of those first 13, and who they've beaten. You'd be very happy with the way they have, especially if you knew that Cody Zeller was going to miss time. You know, that's the whole part of it. It's just like I said, people have to get used to each other. If anybody's played team sports together, chemistry is the most important thing, and that stuff takes time. Even the Miami Heat, when they acquired LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, it took them a whole season to gel together. They didn't win the championship the first year they got together, and that's how it happens. It's very rare when teams get put together and they expect to win so quickly. I don't know about Brooklyn, how that's going to work, but you have three guys like that together. Ethan's question is, would LaMelo be starting right now? There are fans in the stands? No. Fans don't pressure James Borrego. I'm going to tell you this right now. There's no pressure from the front office. There's no pressure from the people that are his bosses and cutting his checks. The fact that the Hornets are at 500 right now, there's nobody pressuring James Borrego to put LaMelo Ball anywhere in the vicinity of the starting lineup. Because here's the thing. If the fans were allowed inside of Spectrum Center, the place is sold out on a nightly basis. I think if Governor Cooper and we can find a way to get fans in the building, don't worry. The Hornets will hit capacity because people want to see LaMelo Ball, regardless whether he plays 30 minutes or 25 minutes. People want to see him play. Adam Bacon in the chat. What's up, Danny? What's up, my man? Appreciate the love and stopping through tonight. Fans will not affect James Borrego. Okay, it's not going to affect him. JB is a very calm coach. Remember, JB came from the Popovich tree. All right, and we all know Greg Popovich can care less what people in the media say or fans yell at him for. Pop just he produces winners. This Hornets team has a chance to be really good. I just think it takes time. Trading for Andre Drummond or any of those guys is not going to change the meter. It's not going to move the needle. Charlotte is doing things at the right way. They wanted to build a team that was going to be a team going forward. And that's what they're doing. We're 13 games in. They're a lot better than what they are. Look at the defensive rating. Look at the way the team's playing defense. They held the Raptors 12 points in the fourth quarter. They're playing very good defense, things they didn't do last year. They're much more efficient on offense, and guess what? They still lead the NBA in assists. That means everybody is touching the ball, everybody is making, everybody is helping. Unlike last year, where Charlotte was basically allowing Devontae and Terry to dribble and shoot with 3 seconds on the shot clock, Gordon Hayward and LaMelo Ball have allowed this team to be much more free-flowing. I think when you have those guys that can do that, it makes things easier. But with the free-flowing part out of it, it just takes time. You know, no team wins in one game, and not one game and everybody's going to be happy. James Borrego does not know to be fired, and I think he's not going to nowhere to be fired. The only way he gets fired is if either A, this team doesn't win another game for a very, very long stretch, or there's a complete mutiny on this roster. The thing with this roster is everybody likes each other. Talking to Malik Monk at the end of the game tonight, he mentioned how in his case where he's enjoying this process. He's enjoying, if he's not playing, being able to be a veteran presence to LaMelo Ball and teaching him the things that he saw at 19 years old. Because remember, when Malik Monk got in the league, he was a 19-year-old rookie too. He's been in the league in his fourth year, so he's seen a lot of things. You see how Bismack Biyombo is taking LaMelo beyond his wing. You see how Gordon Hayward's work ethic is pushing off on these guys. These guys genuinely like each other. They all like each other. They all cheer for each other, and they all want to be successful together. And so guess what? When you have that together and you have that continuity and that camaraderie together, it's going to work. Miles Bridges is evolving into his new role. He's accepted coming off the bench, and he's exceeded expectations. Okay, he's exceeded what people expect him to do off the bench. No one expected LaMelo Ball to be like this early. We expected him to be good, but not this good 13 games into the season. What we have seen from Terry Rozier is that he has become an off-ball sniper, arguably the team's best shooter from beyond the arc, a very, very good catch and shoot guy, and he also sets the tone defensively. No one thought that PJ Washington would be this good in the interior this soon in the role that he has. Okay, blocking all those shots and affecting shots in the rim is not something what PJ did last year. And he's doing it at a level that was higher than it was last season. Okay. Devontae has moments with his shot, and the shot it's not going in like we thought it was. But remember, Hornets fans fail to realize at times that Devontae was a 38.5% shooter last season. He shoots in volume. He shoots a lot. He's got to have usage. So he's got to have the ball. And that's why Blitz was saying he likes to bring the ball up. Devontae has to have the ball in his hands. It's just who he is. And you don't want to change that either. You don't want to make a player change his game because he becomes uncomfortable. And that's what the part with the adjustment is, that Devontae doesn't have the ball as much as he used to. So for him, for being a guy that was able to take the ball and control the majority of the game to now not being able to, it is an adjustment. It does take time. And the good news is Charlotte has another game on Saturday, and then you get 3 days off before Washington comes to town, if Washington is able to play, because Washington is dealing with a whole issue with COVID right now. So you get time to work together. And it's just, like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was successful basketball teams the way they're doing it. Charlotte's not spending the money. Alec Gellerman in the chat, keep up the good work. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe and download the Haps app to make sure you get all the broadcasts as well, too. All right, good news, Hornets fans. They have a chance, a full day to take the rest. They play again on Saturday out in Tampa against the Raptors for the second part of a back-to-back. And ironically, this will be the fourth time the Hornets have played the Raptors since we got back to basketball. 2 in preseason and 2 in the regular season. Game balls tonight before I go into what to look for on Saturday. Listen, the first game ball tonight, you have to go with PJ Washington tonight. A double-double from PJ. Another game where PJ is evolving into a much better player and a different type of role. 20 points, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks. It's difficult being 6'7", and you have guys like Chris Boucher who are much more bigger and with the same type of, not more athleticism, going against him on a regular nightly basis. You saw what he did against Kristaps Porzingis. He's playing the best he can for the size he can. He's stepping up to the role tonight. Other guys who I say get my game balls tonight. Listen, Terry Rozier had a good game tonight, 22 points, 5 assists, 10 of 16 from the floor, super efficient as always tonight. And also give a game balls. Listen, we talk about LaMelo Ball, 14 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds in the game. And Malik Monk, even though he went scoreless in the entire second half, his 10 points in the first half, the fact he knocked down 3-pointers, is just good to see Malik back on the court tonight. And so the question was asked, I think someone had asked me earlier about Malik Monk and his spot in the rotation. I don't know if this is a game that's going to get Malik back in the rotation, but what this game will do is it will give the confidence. And if we ask Malik tonight at the end of the game, does he feel like he should be in the rotation after his performance tonight? And Malik gave an answer that was very, very mature of somebody that's been going through the way he's going through. He said he felt like he was in good condition. He felt like he was better than he thought he was going to be after taking all the time off. It's a step in the right direction. I think if Hayward is out again on Saturday and Monk does this type of performance, I can see Monk sliding himself back in the rotation, getting a few more minutes here and there. We didn't see much of Cody Martin. I think he played 6 minutes tonight. I think Malik will start getting in that role. I think he's going to start easing his way in. I think another good game on Saturday, if given the opportunity. I think, JB, I think even if Hayward plays, Malik should see some kind of minutes, because when he was out there in the first half, it looked like a guy that was out there who can still contribute to this team. And let's be honest, he's the guy that can heat up the fastest. It's just that, can he keep it locked in on both ends of the court on a regular basis? Another question that people are asking about, I guess, is Gordon Hayward's injury. Just to recap, Hayward was held out at the last minute due to a hip injury. He is day-to-day by the team. I'm not sure if we're going to see him on Saturday. We don't know yet. The Hornets are not practicing. There's no shoot-around tomorrow, so there'll be no won't have any access to the team tomorrow. We'll have some on Saturday with shoot-around on Saturday, but I don't expect to know anything about Gordon's status until probably right around game time on Saturday night. Like I said, the Raptors and the Hornets will turn back around and play Saturday. The back end of a back-to-back 2-game and 3-night baseball-style homestand for the Raptors before the Hornets go on break until Wednesday. So once again, thank you for everybody in the chat stopping through tonight. I do appreciate you guys. Like I said, everybody stopping through, even my main man Blitz on Twitter. I said Mike Patton, Alec, like I said, everybody who said hey earlier, Ethan Ellerman. Like I said, if you like what you hear, like I said, subscribe to the Haps TV, as well as do what Precious and Mike did tonight, and also subscribe. You get 100 coins that you can also put into the coin bank as well too for me for supporting the work. Like I said, I appreciate all you guys stopping through tonight. Follow me on Twitter at DannyD8NNY 3 Thompson on Twitter. Also on the 3pointconversion.com. I think the video from post game will go up in a few minutes. You'll hear me talking to Malik Monk after the end of the game tonight. Like I said, check us out on a daily basis because we do add Hornets content on the YouTube page pretty much on a daily basis. So once again, guys, I appreciate you stopping through tonight. Once again, it's been a pleasure. I'm Danny Thompson from the 3-Point Conversion. This is the BuzzCity post game show. We'll see you guys on Saturday night. You guys stay safe out there in those streets. Later.